Look, AI, it isn't just another piece of software for your team anymore. It's really more like a new player on the field, and it is completely rewriting the leadership playbook way faster than anybody saw coming. So today, we're going to break down exactly how this AI shockwave is changing the game for managers, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
All right, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get a handle on just how big this AI shockwave really is. Then, we're going to look at why managers, of all people, are surprisingly right in the crosshairs. We'll unpack the 3 new AI powers that are driving all this change, and then we get to the good stuff, a practical, 5-step playbook to help you lead through it. Let's dive in.
So first up, the AI shockwave. And let me just say, if you think this is something you can worry about, way down the road, think again. The future is definitely arriving ahead of schedule. I mean, the transformation of work is accelerating at a truly dizzying pace right now.
It's wild. Just a few years back, the experts were telling us we probably had until about 2032 to get ready for this. Well, as this research shows, that whole timeline has just collapsed. We are literally experiencing what was supposed to be a decade of change, and it's happening right now.
93%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how many jobs could be impacted by AI today. This isn't some niche tech thing anymore, not at all. It's hitting pretty much everyone, all the way from the front lines right up to the C-suite. And here's the money behind it all. We're talking about $4.5 trillion. That's the sheer value of labor just in the US that could shift from people over to AI. This isn't just a small change. It's a fundamental revaluation of what work even is. So, with a shift this massive, this multi-trillion-dollar shift, you have to ask, where's the impact being felt the most? And you might be surprised. It's not on the factory floor. No, the real pressure is building on middle and senior management. I mean, this goes against everything we used to think, right? The common wisdom was always that the really complex strategic jobs, the managers, the leaders, they were safe from automation. Well, that whole idea is getting completely flipped on its head.
So, how do we even begin to measure something like this? Well, researchers have come up with something called an AI exposure score. Basically, you can think of it like a percentage. It breaks down any job, task by task, and figures out how much of it could be assisted or even fully automated by the AI we have right now. And check this out. This is what's really mind-blowing. Look at the CEO role. The original prediction for 2032 was an exposure score of about 25%. Today, it has already shot past 60%. I mean, that just shows you how incredibly fast the entire landscape for leadership is changing.
And here's the core reason why. It's this massive shift for AI, from just doing analysis to actually performing execution. Think about it. It used to just be a tool that gave managers a bunch of data. Now it can act on that data. It can manage projects, assign tasks, run workflows. It's starting to do what managers do. Okay, so how on earth did this all happen so quickly? Well, it really comes down to 3 specific, very powerful breakthroughs in what AI can do. And these have all really come online in just the last few years.
Okay, so here they are. First, AI basically got eyes thanks to what we call multimodal AI. Then, it got a much better brain with something called expanded reasoning. But the real kicker, the final piece of the puzzle, was agentic AI. This gave it hands, the power to actually take action on its own inside our business systems. So, it can see, it can think, and now it can act.
Let's zoom in on that last one. Agentic AI, because honestly, this is the one that changes everything for leaders. We're not talking about simple chatbots here. These are systems that can do things like allocate resources, keep an eye on project progress, and sort through complicated workflows. All things that, until now, were pretty much only done by human managers. All right, so the challenge is pretty clear, right? The big question is, what's the solution? How do you, as a leader, navigate all of this? The good news is there is a really solid practical framework out there that we can use as a guide. The World Economic Forum lays out this really clear 5-pillar approach, and it's not just about surviving. It's a whole strategy for building an organization that isn't just ready for what's coming, but is actually out there shaping it. First up is vision. And this all starts with asking a really fundamental question. How, specifically, will AI and people working together create brand new value in your organization? This isn't about grabbing some generic strategy off a shelf. It's about figuring out your own unique path. Okay, pillar number 2, skills. And this part is so important. We're not just talking about technical skills like coding. We're talking about doubling down on the things that make us human. Creativity, deep critical thinking, empathy. These are the skills that AI actually makes better, not the ones it replaces. Then we have technology. And the guiding principle here is super clear. Augment, don't replace. The whole idea is to build what's called a human-in-the-loop system. Let the machines handle the repetitive execution, which frees up your people for what they do best: judgment, strategy, and building real connections. And of course, that flows right into the next pillar: process. Because you can't just plug this incredible new technology into your old, creaky workflows and expect magic to happen. Leaders have to completely rethink and re-engineer how work actually gets done, creating this seamless partnership between machine speed and human insight. And finally, the fifth pillar, which might just be the most important: culture. Because look, none of this other stuff works if the culture isn't right. Your organization has to become a learning machine, one that's constantly adapting while also building real trust and psychological safety around these powerful new AI systems. Okay, so let's put it all together. What does this mean for leadership? It's really time to reframe our idea of what a leader even does in a world where AI is basically a new member of the team. This really gets to the single most important mindset shift for any leader listening right now. This is not a people versus machines situation. It's not a zero-sum game. The winning move here is to stop worrying about replacement and start getting excited about amplification. And this quote from the World Economic Forum just hits the nail on the head. Technology should enhance human capability, not replace human purpose. The goal here isn't just to be more productive. It's about using these tools to make us better at what we do, to free us up for the kind of meaningful, strategic, purposeful work that really matters. And that brings us to the final critical question. The AI shockwave isn't on the horizon. It's already here. The tech is ready to go. The playbooks are being written as we speak. So the most important question isn't if this is going to change things. The question is, are you ready to lead your team through it?